If your child looked up at you one quiet evening and asked, "Are we rich?" how would you respond? Would you smile and say yes, hesitate and change the subject, or use it as a teaching moment? It's a question that might catch any parent off guard, but behind it lies curiosity, values, and even identity. Before we dive into when kids should know about wealth, let's explore why that simple question can be so powerful. It feels like a harmless question, but it isn't. When a child asks, "Are we rich?" they're not just asking about money. They're searching for meaning, for identity, for how the world sees them and how they should see themselves. It's a moment that challenges us as parents. Do we shield them? Do we teach them? Or do we pass down silence like generations before us? Because behind that one question is everything we believe about wealth, worth, and the kind of people we hope they'll become. And that brings us to the question no handbook ever really answers. When should they know? When is the right age to tell a child they come from wealth? Is it 7, when they start asking why their toys are different? 13, when classmates begin to compare lifestyles? Or is it something we never really say out loud but show in quiet choices? For many families, the answer isn't on a calendar. It's wrapped in fear, in love, and in the hope that their children grow up grounded, not entitled. Some parents choose honesty early, believing that if children understand wealth young, they'll also learn to respect it. The idea is that awareness can build character, responsibility, maybe even gratitude. But others worry, if you tell them too soon, does it plant a different seed? One of entitlement? One where success is expected, not earned? That's the tightrope between raising a child who understands privilege and one who assumes it's their birthright. So how do families actually navigate this in real life? Not in theory, but in the quiet moments behind closed doors. Let's look at real stories. Families who stood at this exact crossroads and had to make the call, to tell or to wait. What did they say? How did their kids react? And what did they learn in hindsight? Because in these lived experiences, we start to see the emotional weight and wisdom behind the decision. Take the Gates family, for example. Despite having one of the largest fortunes in the world, Bill and Melinda made headlines when they revealed their children wouldn't inherit the majority of their wealth. Why? Because for them, raising grounded, motivated individuals mattered more than passing down billions. They wanted their kids to pursue purpose, not rely on privilege. It wasn't about denying them, it was about protecting their character. In their words, we want them to have the freedom to follow their own path, not one paved entirely with money. Then there's Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha. He's long said he'll give his children enough to do anything, but not enough to do nothing. It's a delicate balance. He wanted them to dream big, to pursue passion, to work hard, but not to become dependent on wealth they didn't earn. So he told them early on that the family had money, but made sure they understood. With privilege comes responsibility. It wasn't just a financial decision, it was a parenting philosophy. And here's why it matters. By the time a child turns 7, many of their core money habits, saving, spending, even how they think about value, are already forming. That's before they've opened a bank account or earned $1. It happens through observation, how parents talk about money, how they treat people, what they celebrate. So if you're waiting until they're older to discuss wealth, you might already be too late. Silence, too, teaches something. But knowing you're rich isn't the same as knowing how money works. A child can recite the size of the family fortune, yet have no idea how that money was made, or what it takes to keep it. There's a difference between awareness and understanding. One gives a sense of privilege, the other a sense of responsibility. Without that deeper context, wealth becomes a number, not a narrative. And numbers without meaning don't teach values, they just inflate egos. So let's break down the potential benefits of telling kids early. For one, it can demystify money, turning it from a secret into a tool. When children understand their family's wealth early on, they're more likely to ask thoughtful questions, take ownership of their future, and develop healthy financial habits. Early awareness can also nurture gratitude, if framed the right way. It gives parents the chance to model values like generosity, discipline, and purpose before the world teaches entitlement. Handled with care, early money conversations can spark something powerful in a child: gratitude. Not just for what they have, but for the people who made it possible. It also opens the door to real financial literacy, not just knowing they're rich, but understanding how money moves, grows, and gives. And in some rare cases, it ignites a sense of purpose. A young mind that sees money as a means, not an end, can grow into an adult who wants to use wealth to build, help, and heal. But it's not all upside. There are real risks to telling a child too soon. Entitlement can creep in, quiet at first, then loud. The belief that success is guaranteed, not earned. Then there's pressure. The unspoken weight of being the heir, of living up to a name or fortune they didn't build. And worst of all, isolation. When a child wonders, do they like me or the lifestyle I was born into? Wealth can build walls before it builds wisdom. And sometimes the cost is invisible until it's too late. Imagine being just 9 years old and realizing your family owns a private jet, not because someone told you, but because you overheard it in passing. Suddenly, playdates feel different. Friends' houses seem smaller. Vacations aren't just trips, they're statements. That simple awareness rewires how a child views the world. What's normal, what's expected, what's owed. And once that curtain is pulled back, innocence doesn't return. Because now, money isn't just a number, it's a lens through which everything gets measured. One wealthy parent once shared a quiet moment of truth. We told our son we were rich, the day he asked why we never say no at restaurants. It wasn't a planned talk, it wasn't a family meeting, it happened over fries and a milkshake. But in that innocent question, why do we always say yes, was the start of a deeper understanding. Because kids notice, they compare, they wonder why they always get dessert while their friends share one plate. And sometimes, it's not the answer that shapes them, it's the silence before we give it. The truth is, it's rarely a single sit-down moment. Most kids don't learn they're wealthy from a speech, they absorb it. From always flying business class, even when their friends fly economy. From watching their parents tip like it's nothing. From never being told, we can't afford that. These are the clues, the habits. The quiet lessons whispered through daily life. Wealth becomes a language. And whether parents mean to or not, their children learn to speak it long before they understand it. So what's the right age to tell a child they're rich? Turns out, there's no magic number. Psychologists and financial advisors agree, it's not about age, it's about emotional maturity. One 10-year-old might grasp responsibility, while a 16-year-old might still see money as unlimited wishes. The real question isn't how old are they, it's are they ready to understand without being defined by it? Because wealth, revealed too soon, can shape identity, but revealed too late can create confusion, secrecy, or even resentment. Some kids are ready by 8, curious, grounded, asking thoughtful questions. Others, not until their teens, or even adulthood. One child might ask, why don't we fly commercial? While another wonders how the stock market works. Readiness isn't just about curiosity, it's about their reaction. Do they show gratitude or expectation? Do they ask what they can do with money or what money can do for them? This is why each family's timing looks different, because each child is a different world. Think of it like teaching them to drive. You wouldn't hand over the keys on day one. First, they need to understand the rules, the risks, and the responsibility. Money works the same way. You start with small lessons, how to earn, how to give, how to wait. Then as they grow, the lessons grow too. Just like driving, it's not about the car, it's about the mindset. Instead, you teach, slowly, with trust, with guidance. You start with honest conversations about value, why we earn, why we save, why we help others. You show them that wealth is a tool, not a trophy. That just because we can afford something doesn't mean we need it. These lessons don't happen in one day. They happen in quiet moments. Grocery shopping, volunteering, even saying no to something they want. Each moment becomes a brick in the foundation of how they'll view money for life. So how do you know when to start? There's no universal age, but there are signs. Is your child curious about how money works? Do they ask questions about why some people have more than others? Do they show empathy, responsibility, or a sense of fairness? Maybe they've started saving their allowance or offered to give to someone in need. These little clues signal something powerful, that they're not just seeing money, they're beginning to understand its meaning. One of the clearest signs, the questions they ask. Not just, can I have this, but how much does that cost? Or why don't we buy everything we want? These aren't just questions, they're reflections of emotional growth. When a child begins to link money with meaning, with impact, with effort, that's when you know they're moving from wants to awareness, from asking for things to asking about things. Once you recognize the signs, the next question becomes, how do you actually tell them? Not with a grand announcement or a balance sheet, but with honesty, clarity, and care. It's not about the number in the bank, it's about the story behind it, the sacrifices, the values, the journey. The goal isn't to impress them, it's to empower them, to understand where the family came from and what they're now part of. Step 1, be honest, but skip the zeros. Your child doesn't need to know the exact dollar amount in your account. What matters more is helping them understand the principles behind that wealth. Talk about how the money was earned, the work, the risks, the values. Explain the difference between being rich in money and being rich in purpose. Step 2, talk about what money does, not just what it buys. Instead of listing things, cars, vacations, gadgets, focus on how money creates opportunities. Like funding education, helping others, or building something meaningful. Teach them that money is a tool, a resource, a responsibility. Step 3, repeat the message because it's not a one-time talk. Remind them again and again that wealth is a tool, not an identity. It's something you use, not something you are. Just like a hammer doesn't make you a builder, money doesn't make you valuable. Reinforcing this helps kids separate their self-worth from their net worth. And in a world obsessed with status, that lesson is gold. And remember, the goal isn't secrecy, it's stewardship. You're not hiding the truth from your child, you're guiding them into it with care. Like passing down a fragile heirloom, it's not about locking it away. It's about preparing them to hold it without dropping it. Wealth isn't just money, it's decisions, responsibility, and legacy. Your role, not to protect them from it, but to prepare them for it. A child who knows their family is rich can still grow up humble, grounded, and kind. Awareness doesn't have to equal arrogance. It depends on the story we wrap around the wealth. When kids are taught that money is a responsibility, not a reward, that kindness matters more than status, they grow with both feet on the ground, even if the floor is marble. It's not the money that spoils, it's the silence, the fear, or the entitlement we let grow in its shadow. But it doesn't happen by accident. It takes work, conversations, boundaries. A million small choices that shape character more than bank balances. Parents model what matters, how they treat others, how they talk about money, how they show up in the world. Kids notice everything. They remember generosity, they sense humility, and over time they learn that being rich isn't just about what you have, it's about how you live. At the heart of it all, it's not just what kids are told, it's how and by whom. The message of wealth, if shaped with intention, can empower rather than isolate. And the messenger? That's you. Parents, mentors, role models. Every comment, every choice, every story told at the dinner table, we're shaping the narrative. Are we teaching them to see money as a mirror or as a window into how they can serve others? Because wealth without wisdom is just luck. And luck without guidance fades fast. It's not the fortune itself that lasts, it's the mindset that shapes it. A child who inherits money without meaning may spend years searching for purpose. But a child who's taught the why behind the wealth, they don't just protect it, they grow it, share it, and use it to build something bigger than themselves. So, what would you say if your child asked, "Are we rich?" Would you change the subject? Would you hand them numbers? Or would you open a door to values, responsibility, and meaning? Because this question isn't really about wealth, it's about legacy. And legacy isn't only what you leave behind, it's what you live and teach today. The real answer isn't in your bank account, it's in the character you build together.